Today, coming up on the Canadian Real Estate Show.
Bank of Canada rate cut to spur urgency in the real estate market.
Canadian loonie forecast to remain weak. Bad news for home building.
Elon Musk calls Justin Trudeau insufferable tool in new social media post.
Damn! Congestion costs Ontario $56 billion annually.
What?
Report finds. Did I say annually? Annually? Let me do that one again. Congestion costs Ontario $56 billion annually. Report finds.
Ford threatens to cut off Ontario's energy supply to the U.S. if Trump follows through on tariffs.
And the jobless rate reaches 6.8% in November, highest since 2017.
All this and more coming up on the Canadian Real Estate Show. Let's go.
Darryl, how are you, my friend? You know what? We had a nice breakfast this week. We got to sit down, relax. You took me to your favorite spot. I paid. It was just such an amazing time.
It was beautiful.
It was the best bagel I ever had.
Did you have a bagel?
I had a bagel. I ordered the He-Man.
The He-Man.
The He-Man.
I'm pretty sure you've been there before. I mean, you've known me for friggin' ever.
But the last time you brought me there, maybe it was, less celebratory. Maybe it was more just casual. But this time it was just like, hey, man, we're kicking butt out there.
Kicking butt and taking names.
In all areas, yeah.
But anyways,
thanks for inviting me. That was great. It was beautiful. No complaints. We should do it again.
Yeah, thanks for paying. I didn't remember that you paid.
No problem. It was the best $36 I ever spent.
I remember our friend that we went out for dinner with a couple of nights ago. He paid for the apps and made a big whole production out of making sure he paid for just the apps. That was interesting. But
yeah.
Hey, listen.
Take him out for dinner again.
Are you dying to have the Canadian Real Estate Show merch?
Ho, ho, ho. I bet they are, Darryl. Guess what?
Ho, ho, ho.
Now they can buy it themselves. Go check out the merch store.
What a Christmas gift this would be. Make Canada great again, TK.
Yeah. Your significant other. Think about them opening up on Christmas Day, a gift from the Canadian Real Estate Show. Maybe they don't even know what that is, but imagine the look on their eyes of surprise. Guys, for very reasonable rates that we make very little money on, check out the merch store and support the cause.
That's right. Support the cause. Get a hoodie. It was pretty damn busy, that place. Like every other place I'm at in the recession that we're not in based on
recession.
What the Bank of Canada governor said.
The current governor.
Current governor?
Because you hear what Polaz said.
Right. So the previous governor said that we're already in recession. And
definitely in a recession, guys.
I mean, quite honestly, so have I, TK. And I mean, it really should end there, but obviously it didn't.
People want that technical recession statistic. Look,
real numbers.
Imagine this, okay? Imagine me telling somebody right now who just got a promotion, whose family is all doing well and they're healthy and they got jobs and their parents are retired and they're in Florida and they got all these good things going on, and me being like, we're in a recession. Yeah. They don't care. That doesn't change anything that they're going to do. And imagine telling somebody right now who's just got a renewal on their mortgage that their payments have gone up $3,000 a month. They've missed payments, 3 out of 12 times per year for the last 2 years. They're having cuts going on in their job. Their wife just lost their job and they're nervous about, where they're going to be living next year. Imagine saying to them, but don't worry, we're not in a recession.
We're not really in a recession.
It's just a vibe session.
Yeah. That's right. It's the vibe session. It's not really a technical recession because we fuck with the numbers as much as we need to in order to back up the story that we're trying to push in the media. So
So who cares if we're in a recession or not? Let's just say
who
that.
cares?
Who cares? Does it really matter whether we're in a recession or not on the outcome that somebody is going to have as far as what their life like? If I don't have a job,
Yeah.
I don't care if you guys are telling me it's, it's,
Yeah.
it's a recession or not. I
Yeah.
don't have a job, Daryl.
Yeah. What if there's
I
no recession and I don't have a job? Then what
yeah.
does that mean?
I don't care what you tell me about the recession or not.
Yeah.
I'm in a personal recession here,
That's
okay?
right. I'm fucked up
I'm
over
about
here.
to,
I'm in a tent,
I'm
bro.
about to move somewhere
Right?
cheaper.
There's people working full-time jobs and still living in a car in a tent. Like, it's not easy. Have you seen, actually, I don't know what we're talking about right now, but I saw this article that said if you grew up in like the 80s or 90s and your parents made, I think it was $94,000, okay, you lived a decent life. Like I've said a few times in the past, like 100 grand was fucking stellar, right?
Yep.
But now the equivalent to live the same life as the people that made 94 grand back then, you need 250 something $1,000 of
Jesus. Who
income,
makes that
right?
kind of money? Hey guys, we hope you like the content. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know in the comments what you think. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else that podcasts are being shown. We're probably there. We got a Clips channel. Check that out. Book a call with me. You got the merch store. Thanks for watching.
Who makes that
Who
kind of
makes that
money?
kind
I
of
mean,
money?
you gotta
Well, according to
take big
the
risks.
the new policies that we have coming out, the 15th, which is um, today, the day the show is airing.
Today
People, yeah, the 15th.
on a
So
Sunday, we're starting policies on
it
Sundays.
says after the December 15th, you'll be able to access the increase to the insured mortgage up to $1.5 million. Right. And those
Holy
people, because
cow.
apparently there's just so many people who don't have 20% down who make 200 and something $1,000 that are going to qualify for this extra mortgage amount that is going to be available to them. So, anyways,
Well,
we
so
can
but hold
talk
on a
about
sec.
that later.
So, but last time they cut a half a point, it was considered an emergency rate cut, right? And everybody was concerned about the dollar, and the dollar, I don't think it did very well after the last half a point rate cut. And
Hasn't been
then
doing well for a little while.
for a little while. And now we have another not emergency half point rate cut, just like, par for the course right now. We're going to ease into the recession that isn't really here with another half a point
Look,
interest
if
rate.
they're cutting, I remember
Yeah.
when they started talking about it going down to a quarter instead of a half, and everyone's got their own opinions. I stopped guessing on the rates, by the way, after the first time I was wrong.
Yeah.
But basically, what it's telling us is that they still feel like there's a whole bunch of stuff going on out there in the economy. And the unemployment rate, I think, is probably your biggest issue. But that's basically what the Bank of Canada is looking at. And they're saying to themselves, hey, this economy needs a little bit of extra boost to it, and that we're not going to be worried about inflation anymore because they got inflation down to 2% in most cases, and that they're going to be watching
Sure they
obviously
did.
core inflation, but they're going to be watching the unemployment rate and seeing exactly where the market is because they need to make sure that people, spend. Talk to retailers right now for Christmas.
Oh my
Talk,
God.
it's not the same.
Well, we'll
There's
see what happens. We got Christmas and Boxing Week, but who
It's not the
wants to?
same. People are right now already starting to talk about this being one of the slowest Christmases they've had on the retail side.
Yeah, I wonder what people did with inventory leading up to this. If they kind of thinned it out this time, or if they were stupid and they loaded up, and that'll make things interesting.
I
But
don't
you know
know.
who
What do
has
you what do
something to
you
say
do?
about this, TK?
Tell me.
Mark Morris has something to say about
Hey,
this
Marky
very
Mark,
topic.
how are
Yeah,
you? Bring him on.
let's go.
Hey guys, all right, let's go for this week's rant. And this week's rant has to do with interest rates, because why would we talk about anything else on this week except for interest rates? Of course, biggest news, 50 basis point reduction. What does it mean? What does it mean? Well, keep in mind, first of all, that you're listening to a lawyer, so any of the advice I give you about this can be jettisoned out the window because, I know as much as the next guy here. This isn't legal advice. This is just general market sentiment. But I do speak to a lot of people who are in pain. And the 50-point basis drop is significant insofar as, it's going to help people with variable rate mortgages deal with that acute pain and everything else. Having said that, if I take a look at my Facebook feed, and yes, it's incredibly embarrassing that that's my feed. My social media feed is Facebook. I'm approaching 50. It sucks. I wish it was TikTok or Snapchat or something else, but Facebook it is. If I take a look at my Facebook feed, I see a bunch of dancing realtors talking about how the good times are back, and I just don't think that that's the case. I don't think a 50-point basis drop is going to have that effect. And the reason is because we haven't divorced ourselves from the effects of the last bubble. The last bubble seriously went ahead and broke apart the traditional relationship that exists between house prices, Canadian house prices, and Canadian income. And Canadian house prices are still vastly above what Canadian incomes should be able to afford. And yes, this dying government is trying everything they can to make your dollars stretch further and allow you to be more in hock to the banks through CMHC programs and amendments and everything else. And that's all true, but the fundamentals remain that people should not be affording $2 million homes on Canadian incomes of $100,000. They just shouldn't. I mean, that's an extreme example, but it's not totally abnormal. We see that all the time. How they qualify for a mortgage is something else, but still, that's the reality. And so dropping 50 basis points is helpful, but I firmly believe that the reason that people were investing in Canadian investments towards the end, towards the 2021-2022 cycle was not because they could afford it, not because it made fundamental sense, but simply because, as with all bubbles, people realized that things were going up, and as long as they got out before the bubble popped, it was an investment that they were ready to risk. I don't believe that anyone thinks that that bubble is coming back in any significant way, though lowering interest rates is obviously going to help with some demand. And as a result, the investor class isn't coming back, and it's the investor class that was booning the markets to unprecedented heights. And so I feel pretty confident in saying that this interest rate decline is going to have some positive effects, to be sure, and is probably more than necessary given where that Ontario's economy is in the crapper. And it doesn't help that we have an American administration that is seemingly looking at Canada and saying, we're going to come at you with a baseball bat. All of these things provide for economic uncertainty. But beyond all of that, there is the fundamental point that we are still divorced from Canadian income in the form of our housing prices. And until that changes, we can't really enter into another massive rally in the price of real estate. And so let's temper those expectations. This is much more of a wait and see approach. And smart money is really on saying, okay, well, this will probably have an effect, but how much of an effect, to be sure? And certainly, anyone who's sitting there saying the good times are back, well, I would be very cautious of those folks. Of course, those folks are usually on Twitter anyways, on TikTok anyways, and don't necessarily see Facebook as the appropriate channel to actually be doing this. Look, that's my rant for the week, and I'm curious as to what you guys think.
Yeah, so Mark, appreciate you. Always good to hear from the lawyer, somebody a little bit more qualified.
A little bit more qualified.
A little bit more qualified.
A little bit more.
Most people are more qualified than us, but hey, who's keeping track?
Doesn't matter.
Keeping track
here.
of
We got the hats.
qualifications.
That's
Your right shoulder's disappearing a lot right now. Darryl, move your mic in front of you,
and
then that way it won't continue to cut out your right shoulder. I like that shoulder. That's a good shoulder.
That's the good. That's the new shoulder. TJ.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's a good shoulder. I like that one.
I can't see my tie though. This is well, I guess
we saw your tie. We
already saw the tie. That doesn't
good.
matter.
Now
we need
tie.
the shoulder.
Yeah.
So TK, I mean, he didn't seem too pleased, and he seems to be. So I don't know about on your social media. I haven't really seen any realtors coming out of the woodwork saying, "Okay, good times are back," and thank God, half a point. I've seen other people posting stuff saying with realtors saying, better get in before it's too late again, and like wait till the spring, it's too late, but like really, aren't most people kind of bracing for impact over the next little while here?
Well, I am mostly on the seller side. I work with lots of buyers, but the majority of my clients are entrusting me to list their home and to sell their home. And so I am beating a drum right now, making sure that sellers of mine are putting their houses on the market for the holidays and the first couple of weeks of January. So I got several that are coming up. Why? Because last year, this was the best time to sell. It was so crazy. And so why would
buyers are out now, right?
And they're serious buyers. And now we just had a 50 basis point rate cut right before. So I do believe that there is going to be a little bit of extra activity that could lead to upward pressure on prices. But the third week of January, it all disappeared last year. And I'm expecting the same thing to happen again as everyone puts their house back on the market in the new year because they were waiting for the spring market, and they find out that they are just one of many who all decided to come on the market at the same time. And then buyers will go, oh, okay, there is inventory. That's how buyers buy.
I think it's the $250 check.
It's got to be the $250. Right? But I mean, hey, will this December 15th policy change things? We'll see. I mean, according to Mark, he's still got lots of stuff happening in his office of people who are struggling and who can't make their payments. Yeah. This week alone, I'm dealing with, so 10 months behind on a B lender. The guy's 10 months behind on a B lender. So it's $100,000. I
was wondering if we were going to talk about this. Yeah.
I don't want to give up too much details here, but bottom line is you got somebody who is not able to pay their mortgage and has had a court
almost a year behind, though. That's like crazy.
And it's got a court date for, basically the banks wanting to issue a statement of claim and take over the property, right? So he's defending that. And that's all I want to say about that. Next one, though, I haven't had a chance to talk to you about this. I actually called you yesterday, but you were in your community meeting, which I know we're excited to talk about, which we can talk about now. And I want to talk to you about this property because I got a great new listing coming up downtown, like right near University, like just outside Chinatown, right by like east of Spadina and College.
Whoa.
Yeah. So like really, really great pocket down there too. And that's what I wanted to call you about, was talk to you about the development potential there as well too. But people right now have got all sorts of different things going on. It's like, it's insanity, right? They're operating a bed and breakfast and they're retiring and they're doing well. And that's obviously good for them. But, are people traveling as much anymore? No. Is the Airbnb business doing as well as it was before? No. Right? So there's lots of things like that people are really scared about. And we had a client who had a property on the market recently where, they owed $1,025,000 and the property's worth $1,050,000. And it's like, you can't really get the offer. If we can get an offer for $1,050,000, you can't really get an offer that's going to be able to be paying everybody out because sometimes there's judgment fees and all that kind of stuff. So we're dealing with a ton of power sales right now. There's lots of issues out there. And, people should really brace themselves for a rough 2025 at the end of the day.
Yeah. And I mean, you're talking about the resale market. I mean, the pre-construction market is like vanished, gone. It's like it's off the face of the earth. The Canadian pre-construction market is basically gone. Unless it's a townhouse, maybe, I guess, some single family houses are selling in some places, if guys are even releasing anything right now.
If they got the right price, Darryl. If they can release something at the right price where people can look at that and say that? They can't because of the cost of construction.
It's really tough to do that right now, especially if you bought
bottom line is you're not going to sell it.
You bought it 5 years ago. Well, you know what? We got a new member on the team, TK, and he's in pre-construction. He was, a veteran. He was top shelf back in the day, but now now it's not so good. Let's go to our good buddy Pre-Con Juan for an update on the condo market. Okay, everybody, I'm Pre-Con Juan. Nice to meet you. The story is Darryl. The story is TK. I've been sitting here a long time in the sales office for months and months, and nobody is coming by. Nobody is coming by. The story is, okay, I don't even know if we're still open. The story is, Darryl, I had to sell my condo. I'm having a little trouble getting by these days. Okay, the story is that the condo market is slower than it's been in I don't even know how long. I've only been in this business for like 4 years, man. Okay, and when I used to put a unit on the market, this thing used to sell like a hot cake, man, and now it doesn't sell like a nothing cake, man. The story is, it's a horrible story, man. Developers are not putting nothing on the market no more, and buyers have disappeared completely, man, completely. And so I'm sitting here, I'm not sure if I should be, but I'm sitting here in the sales office. I've been sleeping here for the last few days. It's not the best point in my life right now, but I'm a platinum agent through and through here in Toronto. I'm the cream of the crop, the tip of the top. And I tell you what, the story is there is nothing to fucking sell anymore. I'm getting fed up with this bloody city, and I don't know what else to do. But I have a theory. The disappearing buyers, they're gone. They've disappeared. They're gone. They're absolutely nowhere. The story is the buyers are absolutely nowhere to be seen. And I have a theory, because I have had much time lately while I've been sitting here in the sales office doing nothing. I've been scrolling on the TikTok. The TikTok, the story is this TikTok is addictive, man. I've been scrolling on the TikTok, and I have a theory. The story is there. The story is, TK. Okay, the story is there's aliens everywhere. There's aliens everywhere on Earth. They're coming from the sea. They're coming from the sky. They're all over New Jersey. There's aliens all over the place, man. You gotta believe me. I'm very legit. The story is the aliens. I believe that the aliens have taken all of my buyers away. The story is there. The story is the buyers are gone. The aliens are here. The market is weird, and I don't know where to sleep, boys. Back to you. Holy mackerel, what the hell was that all about?
It's a tough go in this pre-construction market out there. It's a tough go. Think
that
about
guy's
the agents
going crazy
who were making big bucks. Now, they still got closings.
What are they doing now?
They're golfing and playing poker, but they still have a lot of checks coming in. They got a lot of checks coming in still. They got a lot of checks coming in. Yeah,
they must be freaking out. Like, how
anything that's closing from 5 years ago, they're getting paid on still.
Can you imagine if all of a sudden, like, the store you're working, you're working in the mall, and it's a jeans store, okay? And all of a sudden, like, you show up and there's no jeans to sell, but they still expect you to, like, figure out to sell something.
Yeah,
TK.
you got to stand in the store.
You still got to make money. Like, you got to look like you're doing something, but there's nothing to fucking do.
I think the analogy should be they picked up the jeans store and they moved it to the desert. You still have the jeans.
That's right.
You're still in the store.
Nobody wants them.
It's a little bit of a further drive to get there now, but there's just nobody coming inside the store to look.
A little warm for this climate.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, TK, it is pretty bad, though. And I mean, if you talk to people in the industry, and who was I sitting with the other day? They asked me what I think about the condo market, and I started laughing. And it's like, I feel bad, TK, because it's not a laughing matter. I'm very happy that I don't have investor type of a product that I'm about to launch or I'm holding on to.
That's something that I imagine that you think about. This is the worst pre-construction market of our generation, and you are
revving up to launch, baby.
Looking into launching your own condo building. So how did the community meeting go? I mean,
the community meeting, I mean, I guess it depends. This is the fourth one, TK. The fourth one. This is unheard of that there's four. But I mean, it's a very important project, TK. And not only is it an important project, but I mean, it's in an area where people have opinions. And really, it ended up on a topic that I am fine with it being an issue, because quite honestly, I also have an issue with this topic. And the problem is this street. It's a dead end street, TK. And it has a green pea parking lot with the entrance and exit from the parking lot on it. And it's right at the edge of the village in Forest Hill. So people use this street to park on when they go get their latte all throughout the day, or when they go to the bank.
To avoid paying the premiums at green pea.
For the parking, right? It's like, I'm going to be here for 2 minutes. But what happens is people turn on the street. Even if they're just turning to go into the parking, they'd have to turn on the street, right? They come out of the parking, they got to turn on the street, and there's the bank, and there's the Starbucks, and there's a million reasons to like park there for 10 seconds. So there's already a big problem, right? And so the people on the street are, not excited about having construction trucks and cement trucks and all that kind of stuff going on for years when there's already an issue, right? And I don't blame them at all. But what does it have to do with me? I mean, there's going to be a construction project there, right? And it's not even the construction part that's bothering them, because they understand that one way or another, there's going to be construction on the street from this property at some point in time, whether it's me or the next guy, right? At some point, there's the interruption.
And whether it's 2 stories, 10 stories, doesn't matter. There's
Well, I mean,
construction.
there's going to be construction one way or
Yeah.
another. So,
Yeah.
but it kind of got to the point where they all resigned to that fact. It's like you're going to put a bigger load on the system here with, all of your units and all the people that live in them.
Yeah.
And although that might be true, it's not the problem. Again, it's 24 units. I mean, even at peak times, that doesn't really put much of a strain on the system at all, right? It's just it's a strain on top of a crazy mentally planned street and poorly enforced street.
Not the worst
right?
I've ever seen.
Not the worst ever, but put it in a place where everybody's worth $1 billion and it gets magnified
Big
considerably.
deal. I might need to drive my car in that neighborhood at some point during the next year. And I just want to do it in peace because I'm important.
I mean, you and many of my other friends may need to get there to park for free on my property, which many people do nowadays, right? Because Darryl won't mind. I know him, right? Darryl won't care. You know when Darryl cares? When somebody does it and Darryl needs to use the goddamn parking spot. But anyways, community meeting went well. But again, I put it to you, TK. If I lived on your street, okay, should I really decide what color blinds you have or the paint color you put on the wall or perhaps the layout of your kitchen, which may impose fear onto me when I walk by and see it through the window, TK?
No, those examples you just gave. But if you wanted to build 7 stories on my street, then yes, I should have some sort of input to at least find out how it will impact me. And if the benefit of that building is for the greater good of the community, as opposed to my, small sacrifice that I have to make, then the building should be built.
I think if it's within the...
Is that not right though?
Well, I think you should know what's going on. But if I'm not pushing the limits and I'm asking for something that the city is in support of, then you should just say, I hope that they do the best job ever here. And
That's
wish
your
you luck.
perspective. I at least should be able to voice my concerns.
You should be able to voice them.
Voice my concerns in a public forum that just says, hey, Darryl, and maybe I can,
have a nice day.
Appease to your softer side. And I can say, Darryl, you know what? My little dog loves to eat berries off the bushes on the north side of the property. And even though it's not my bush and I understand, but, do you mind if can you keep the bushes over there? Do you mind making sure that you protect the bushes for little Coco?
Right.
Yeah. And so maybe you'll say, you know what? To keep that neighbor happy, I'll do it. No problem.
I'll keep the bushes for Coco. I mean, listen.
So what's the difference between me saying, hey, Darryl, do you mind, instead of having 73 parking spots, do you mind going down to 42? Because, sometimes
that's not what happened.
I'm going to be walking out on the street and the less traffic would be safer for me and my kids.
Okay. But what we're dealing with is people saying, you should put a roundabout park or driveway on the property and not affect the traffic on the street whatsoever. And we don't care if it completely destroys the look of the property, the look of the building, the pro forma. We don't even care about that. One guy went freaking mental and he says, it's the only way. It's the only way that this can work. Very passionate, very passionate. But
you mean they're not getting the roundabout driveway?
No roundabout driveway.
No roundabout driveway.
No roundabout driveways for you. But we do. But
it's the only way.
2K. But it's the only way, and we found another way.
Good.
But anyways, enough about that. Listen, I mean, it's part of the system. This is how it works. You got to listen to this stuff still.
Well, remember, okay, so this is a good little segue here because that article that I sent you about traffic congestion and the cost to the city. Okay.
Right.
You're talking about big money here. Like, we're not talking about little tiny stuff. We're talking about congestion costs Ontario $56 billion annually.
How do they come up with that?
How do they come
nonsense?
up with that stuff? All right.
Like really?
I'd like to see exactly where that number came from, but let's just say it's true. Okay. At the end of the day, you really got to look at how many people are sitting in traffic when they don't need to. There's a lot of productivity. Think about the companies. The reason that the whole work from home thing is working is because people are more productive. If they weren't, we would have ordered everyone back. We were all concerned when work from home started.
People back.
No, they're doing it in certain areas, but a lot of people, especially smaller companies, they're going, hey, Jim's getting all the stuff he needs to get done. Why why would I have him at the office? And Jim's going like, this is great. I'm getting my laundry done. I'm cooking for the kids. I'm doing all the things I need to do in order to be able to make sure that my life is organized, right? So I believe that there's a lot of lost productivity of people sitting in traffic. Now, the suggestions that this report is basically saying is, how to be able to increase infrastructure, how to make sure, like our 413 highway extension, Bradford bypass,
and this is
transit, all that kind of
this is the
stuff.
problem. But they're looking at it from the wrong angle. Look at it from this angle. If you had the autonomous vehicle that just drove itself, you could become productive in the car, TK.
Well, they talk about that. They talk about having encourage innovative solutions for congestion.
Yes,
so
innovative
those
solutions.
type of industries right now, I think, are really important. I actually got an invitation from my cousin for 3D printing construction at York University. They have a lab. He's a what is he?
A scientist?
He's an engineer. He's a structural engineer.
Structural
engineer.
He's
a professor at York University, and he says we can go to his lab and look at it and do and film the podcast from there, or have some sort of video.
That'd be cool.
They're actually doing 3D printing.
Are they using hemp material? What are they using?
I should ask.
Concrete?
But they're doing 3D printing for housing. Nothing to do with autonomous vehicles, but it just made me
nothing
think about
to do with that. Well,
because that's where that stuff happens in the labs at universities.
Well, but speaking of autonomous vehicles saving the congestion issues, Elon Musk decided that Justin Trudeau was an insufferable fool and or tool. Well, probably both, but he called him an insufferable tool. And this is right after, well, did you see the video of Justin Trudeau giving the state shit for not electing a female and saying that he's a feminist?
I think he's just taking it from Trump, because Trump, even after that meeting, he started feeding him all the posts, right? He starts putting him on the posts, like, Governor Trudeau, you know what I mean? He's calling him all sorts of stuff. So that's where
it's weird though, but that's a weird fight back. It's like he
doesn't know how to fight.
Yeah, this is bad.
We saw him box. He
fighting.
did a boxing match years ago. He doesn't know how to fight. Yeah.
I can't imagine him fighting. But hold on a sec. TK, what's another word for a male feminist?
A feminist?
A male feminist.
Yeah. I don't know. Like a feminist. Isn't it just a feminist?
Maybe in some circles. In my circles, though, it's gay. You're gay. If you're a male feminist, you're gay.
That's
not sorry.
True. That's definitely not the message the Canadian Real Estate Show is putting out there.
No,
because there's lots of gay people.
We're trying to make Canada great again. So you can't have both, buddy.
No way.
You can't have both. Okay,
no way.
Yeah, I think Elon Musk is right though. He's an insufferable tool. The guy is just absolutely destroying our country. It's really, truly unbelievable. And like, he's trying to fight back, but who actually can
you do
fight.
not want to pick a fight with the two like Twitter gods. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're
right.
Elon
and
Trump. Like, if both of them are attacking you on Twitter,
you're fucked.
On X,
yeah,
you got problems. You got problems. Just back down, which is why all the premiers and everybody's saying right now, like, Trudeau, like, back down, man. Like, you do not want to get involved in this. And it's clear, like, he's getting involved in this whole, like, he's coming from the perspective of, like, we're supposed to be on a steady, if difficult, sometimes march towards progress, and yet just a few weeks ago, the United States voted for a second time to not elect its first woman president. Like, no, they didn't elect the wrong person for the job. It wasn't about a man or a woman. It was like there was a better person to vote for, so they voted for the better person. It's a democratic system. So, like, what are you talking about? This has nothing to do with that.
No, she was a moron. The last woman that they had a choice to vote for was an evil, corrupt, like
liar,
satanic freak.
Yeah, so
right?
Like,
it's like, what are you choosing from here?
They picked the better candidate, and that's why
slim pickings.
He's upset. Yeah.
So this is how Trudeau fights back. Like a little girl with his weird feminist speech, and a little smacky smack. And then what happens though? In the background, you got friggin' Ford throwing his weight
Our boy.
around. Like, holy shit.
Listen. You guys can say whatever you want about Doug Ford, okay? Doug Ford, he knows what to do. He's like,
bro,
we're cutting off the energy. Yeah. Okay? You want our power? Yeah. You want to power 1.5 million homes?
Yeah.
Okay? Right now the US has 60% of their oil exported from Canada.
I don't think
60%
Ford
of their
can talk
oil.
for the oil for Canada.
It doesn't matter.
though.
It's the messaging, Daryl.
Well, it's the
It's the
message.
messaging. It's the strong stance from an ex-hash dealer who knows how to work the streets.
Well, listen, just
That's
like
what he
you're,
knows.
but just
He
like you're
knows-
saying that what I'm saying isn't on behalf of, the show, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he can talk on behalf of all of the oil. How
It
is there
doesn't
even
matter.
any oil
It's
in
the message.
Ontario?
It's the messaging, Daryl. We're just
the
putting,
messaging.
we're making sure that the U.S. doesn't think that we're just going to roll over and give them whatever we want and just
No, but
allow
we
for these
do.
tariffs to come in. You got to, that's how you negotiate. You got to
No,
be,
but
you know this. You're a good
Ontario
negotiator.
does provide power from the water, right?
We're going to cut it off.
That's right. We're gonna
No more power.
You guys are fucked, right?
Okay.
Don't fuck around with Ford, man.
You know,
This guy's
you said 60% of your oil's coming from us. Well, we're going to talk to the other 40%, and we're going to tell them not to sell it to you either.
That's right. This guy's
That's how you gotta
one
talk.
second away from.
You can't just be like, "Oh, please don't tariff me, please." You can't say that stuff. It's weak.
No. Well, but I mean, what you can do is say, attack their feminist side.
Listen,
I mean, that's going to help.
Daryl, Trump
how you
knows
get
how to play
canceled.
this game.
Bunch
He
of-
can't even probably do 25% tariffs on everything for some reason that I don't understand because I'm not smart enough or have any experience in that area. But he's saying it because
He's
that's
saying
how
it.
you negotiate.
Look at the
And that's exactly
reactions,
what
right?
Trudeau should be doing. But instead, he's going on the news saying, "Oh, we didn't get a woman as a
Yeah.
president.
I'm
and
gay,
we're 2
everybody."
steps backwards."
Like, right?
Like,
Hey,
you know what I mean?
everybody, this is a perfect time to tell you. He's just next level.
Right? He should have been
garbage.
like all up in Trump's face and just been like, "Listen, you can do your 25% tariffs, but you know what we're going to do? We're going to tariff everything coming out of the States, and we're going to talk to every other country out there, and anything else that you ship out of your country, we're going to have them tariff, and we're
Yeah.
going to make sure, and then we're going to go to this, what is it called? BRICS. We're going to talk to the Saudis, okay? And we're going to make sure that everything that we're exporting is no longer on the, like, I'd say some outlandish stuff that is impossible to do just to put fear in Trump's eyes. I'm telling you. But what did he do?
It's a
He
good
said-
idea.
What did Trudeau say?
No, I wasn't going to say anything about
He said
Trudeau again.
he said women's
just-
rights.
Yeah,
women-
it's just,
women's
hey
rights.
guys, I'm gay. Like, now's the right time. Distraction. Here we go.
It's not going to work.
I think that you guys should have done it a little differently with the woman up there.
Yeah.
Like, I'm behind all the women. Like, this
Okay.
is what's relevant.
I don't want to fight Trump.
Yeah,
He's too tough. He's
Yeah.
too tough. He's
Take
so good at
that,
this job. You're
that
such a
one.
good president. You're such a good negotiator, man. You're really good.
God,
Oh
Trump
man,
is
you're so
gonna-
good.
Trump is
Man,
gonna
I wish I
just
didn't have to go up
abuse
against
it.
you, man.
Trump's
25%,
gonna-
no problem.
Trump is gonna abuse that guy like
Yeah.
Diddy, or like I heard a little story from a friend of ours. I don't know what the hell he's doing down south, but talk about getting abused. Did you
Yeah.
hear from our friend Kip?
Kip. Yeah.
Whoa.
Is he around?
Let's check in with him. He's got a doozy.
Oh, I thought Kip wasn't coming back on the show anymore after an email I got from him this week, but okay. Let's
Yeah.
see it. Kip, what do you got for us today?
A message from
Kip Conahan.
Kip Conahan here, boys. Coming at you from south of the border. Got a couple of perverted real estate agents luring girls from all over the place into their luxury lifestyle. Their names are Tal, Alon, and Oren Alexander. It's in the news, boys. You gotta pay attention. These guys are doing some perverted stuff out there, okay? How come these real estate agents got all this money? Flying around in jets, booking hotels and yachts and all sorts of stuff all over the place. These guys have been doing this for 20 years, boys. 20 years these guys have been doing this stuff to girls, and they're going down. Kip Conahan is personally gonna make sure that these boys feel the full wrath of the law. Good thing they're down in the States. I'm telling you, boys, stuff that's in the news these days and age, it's all gotta be true. And remember, if it's not in the news, it probably never happened.
What the hell does that have to do with Canadian real estate, TK? What the hell was
I
that
have no
all
idea. I have no idea. But this is the bone I guess I got to pick with it, all right?
about? Yeah.
What does it have to do with real estate agents? Why does that have to be in the article? Anytime a real estate agent does something bad, it's like the first thing they lead with.
You know what
I've never seen
surprised
it
wasn't
with-
in there though?
What?
Like, they're obviously Jewish. How come they didn't throw that in there?
Because if they did, then it's anti-Semitic. But for some reason, right? If you mention somebody's Jewish for no reason at all,
Yeah.
you're an anti-Semitist.
Yeah, but you're not an
Yeah.
anti-realtor.
As soon, but if anyone does anything wrong, it's just like this local realtor
Yeah.
was
Perverted
caught
local
speeding,
realtors.
was caught speeding in the
Oh.
country roads. Local realtor crashes through red light.
No, but that's
What
the
does that have to do with
Diddy.
him being a realtor?
Those guys are the Diddy and Epstein of real estate.
But why of real estate?
Why is there a
Why can't they
Diddy
just
of
be
real
rich
estate?
luxury dudes that happen to have a real estate business? I mean, who knows what kind of real estate in? I don't even know if they're real estate agents or real estate investors or what they got. But the bottom line is,
They're like
it has
sales.
nothing
They're
to do with real
realtors.
estate.
They're realtors. They're like selling the luxury units by drugging and R-wording
I guess
women,
so. I don't know,
apparently.
but I think it's just really
Since high
sad. First
school.
of all, that this is happening so much. Like, it's kind of a weird thing. Like I'm standing
lot of it going on.
standing at the grocery store too close to a woman, and I'm going like, "Whoa, they might come and arrest me anytime
Yeah,
here
that's
soon. I
right.
better get out of here."
Take a
And yet
step
these
back.
guys have got like 20 years of history of like drugging girls and like having WhatsApp groups between each other talking about themselves as
It's
the
like an
lions, and
operation. It's like a
shipping girls,
full-
importing girls around the country.
What's going on? This seems to be
Doesn't
the
anyone
way
ever
to
wake
make
up?
money. Yeah, there
But
seems
doesn't
to be
a
lot
guy
of it.
wake up one day and just kind of go like, "Hey man, like I don't think what we're doing is the right thing to do."
Yeah, you know what happens to that guy? That guy gets shot in the head.
That guy does. He gets kicked out of the WhatsApp group. That's what happens
Bye-bye.
with him. And he's like, "Oh
Marty's
shoot, I
getting
don't want to lose
cold
access."
Yeah, we're gonna have
Yeah.
to take care of Marty because he said something stupid. Sorry,
Yeah.
Marty. What
Yeah.
were you saying? Oh, boom. Bye,
Yeah.
Marty. That's what happens when you start to go against the grain. No, when you're in the club, TK, you're in the club for life. That's how these things work, right? They
That's what
got
happens.
something on you.
Yeah.
But this is crazy. Why are we talking about it on the Canadian Real Estate Show, TK? Well,
Because
there's a
we got
reason.
plans. We got plans, guys. And
We
this
have-
is the Canadian Real Estate Show. We started as the Toronto Real Estate Show.
Yeah.
We evolved because we were just so concerned about what was going on coast to coast.
Nolan
across the
told us
country.
we would get more views. Nolan Matthias said we would
No,
get
that's
more
not
views.
the only reason. We talked about our name change 1,000 times before
That's
that.
true. So we
Um,
could get more views.
And so, I mean, really, we have to look at ourselves and say, what do we really talk about, and where does the audience really want to talk about? So if our content was not
we
just
don't know.
real estate focused, and we had more, broad topics, maybe globally, across North America, not just real estate, different industries, what would you guys think about that? Would that be something that you guys would be interested in? Do you only watch us because you think we've got the inside edge on real estate? Like, is that the only reason? Do you think that we're going to come up with, like, we know where rates are going, or we know where the market is going next year, or anything like that? Tell us, what is it that makes you watch the show? Because we want to expand. We're bigger
That's right.
than just real estate, I promise. Are you a real estate agent and you're looking to make a change anywhere in Ontario? Guess what? We're hiring. Frankly and Associates, #1 team in the GTA for all REMAX teams, #1 team for all teams from all companies for number of units sold throughout Toronto. So if you're looking to make a change, best decision I ever made was to join Frankly and Associates. Go to jointeamleo.com and we can set up a call.
Yeah. So that's on the table there, everybody.
It's on the table.
It's on the table. And we've been discussing it. And we don't want to be like Canadian Tire, where it's like, it's obviously everything but Canadian Tires there. But we do have, other things going on that we do enjoy talking about. And somehow on the first episode, TK, what did we squeeze in? Alien invasions and the Diddy and Epstein of real estate. So, I mean, imagine where we're going to head from here. It can only go down from here, TK.
It can only get better.
It can only get better.
It
I
can
guess
only get
depending on your perspective, down is better, right?
Yeah.
Depending on where you
No,
are,
I
what you're
don't think
doing,
so.
and who you're with.
I don't
Down
think
could be
so.
great, TK. So what else is going on? So, hey, did you hear? Did you hear? Did we finish talking about that? I think we did. Did you hear, TK?
Yeah.
The one
The only
did
one?
not sell. It did not sell. They could not sell it. There were no buyers.
As a developer to another developer, who would buy that?
Well, apparently there were 54 groups that signed NDAs, TK, and that is an obvious indication of interest
a bunch
in
of people
buying something for
who couldn't
1.2
afford
billion.
it. Yeah.
Are
I'm pretty
you
sure I was
guys?
one of them.
Yeah. Are you guys sure you can afford to do this deal,
I got a
Jimmy?
big client. Just send me all the docs. I just
Yeah.
want to look
Don't
at
worry.
it. I want to make sure my client's really high profile. They don't
We'll
want
figure it
anyone to
out.
know who they are. I
Yeah.
promise to keep the information to myself
Yeah.
as I read it before I go to bed tonight, planning on not buying anything.
When I was younger and I used to call, and obviously I wasn't the buyer, and they would ask me, like, do you have a buyer? You know what my play was? And this is a good play for anybody
Hmm.
out there that wants a tip. Okay. If you're out there hustling, right, and somebody says, do you have a buyer? You have to get insulted. Okay. You have to be like, how dare you? Of course what are you, crazy? Why would I call you if I didn't have a buyer? Like, what's wrong with you?
You know how
And
many buyers I have?
oh my God. And then they'd be like, oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah,
I
let's
got to
talk.
figure out
Let's
which
talk.
buyer this is even for. Do you know the
Right.
list of buyers that I got?
Right. And as I'm saying that, I'm like, oh my God, who the fuck's going to buy this thing? This
Nobody's
is
got more buyers than me.
This is stupid. But
Yeah.
anyways, that's the trick, TK. You gotta throw them off. You gotta throw them off. What am I
Smart.
talking about,
Smart.
TK? I have absolutely
No, you're talking
clue
about the
once
one,
again.
right? So I mean,
The
the one
one
project,
didn't sell.
the issue with the one is threefold.
Three.
One is that it actually is losing money, and so that there's really no profits to be made in because at the end of the day, they've taken on too much debt. Okay.
Yes.
Two is there's a
That's
whole
not good.
bunch of construction issues with finishing the floors that they haven't done, going through all the different things that they have. And the third one is all the legal ramifications of all the purchasers who have already bought and the public image and everything else like that. And the amount of lawsuits that are probably going to be brought on by this by a bunch of people who are upset because of the unit that they did purchase for way too much money. Right. So
Way too much money then, but now the new guy will want to charge probably like $800 a foot more.
Sure, but they got to collect the money from the people that they do want to close with, which is a whole nother story. So you're just basically signing up to be in a bunch of lawsuits with probably people who can afford good lawyers.
Probably people that can afford good lawyers, for sure.
Probably people who are good lawyers.
People that have already had their deposits sitting there for God knows how bloody long waiting for this.
Yeah.
And that's even if it's 20%, that's a giant deposit, right?
It's one of those situations, like I had a receivership deal that was done on a property where, there was just a lot of stigma with the property. There was just so many issues with this property that it was really, really hard to find buyers. So it wasn't just like a pricing thing. It was just like the units were designed bad, the construction quality was poor, the reputation of the building and what was going to happen after, like who's going to really be responsible for all the different things that need to happen after the closing, after the units are sold. A lot of issues.
Well, but what was happening was, so they had the bankruptcy trustee, they had hired SkyGrid, a giant, well-known construction company to continue the construction, and it's been chugging away, and it's like getting up there. And now what they decided to do, so apparently they got 10 bids on the property, but 9 of them were just to take over the construction, like project management, finish the sales off, like just finish off the project as like a gun for
party.
hire, right?
Yeah.
Not as part of it. Maybe there's some way that they're tied into it, but it was 10 different proposals. And so when they went through it, they decided Tridel was the best way to get this thing finished.
Obviously.
Well, I mean, Tridel is not known as a high-end luxury developer,
but they're the most reliable condo developer in the city.
Well, not back in the 80s when they went completely upside down.
Doesn't matter.
At
Today's
the moment,
reputation is the most reliable.
Not a bad choice.
Company.
But what's happened is basically the lenders are now the developers, right? Right. And now they've hired the best guy willing to do this fucked up job. And now it's like, now you got to kick out the new project manager, bring in the new guys again, continue the construction, start selling the units that are unsold. I mean, is this a good environment to start doing that in now? Maybe it's starting to
But you make the best of what you can. So anytime, like
lenders
Warren
must be
Buffett said, the
lending more
buildings
money
will stay,
too.
but the owners will change.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen here. Is these owners, some of the owners who bought pre-construction, some of those owners will be the owners, and some of them won't close, and they'll, maybe some of them got it in a corporation name, some of them put it in their kid's name. There's a whole bunch of reasons why someone won't close. And those units will still get built, and some other guy will buy it, and they'll find a buyer at the right price.
Yeah. All
Right?
kinds of
You were
money gonna
telling me
get
about
lost.
Elton John making that purchase.
Yeah, I forget what the building's called. It's that
Yeah,
like weird looking, stepped in, layered,
yeah.
boxy
So $8.5
looking
million purchaser.
$8.5 million for
Yeah,
the penthouse.
there's
Over
there's
2 stories too. How's Elton John? Okay, Elton John's
yeah.
like 80 something, and he got a penthouse that's 2 floors.
Got to
Like
be an
who's
elevator.
thinking here?
There's got to be an
Elevator?
elevator. Yeah.
Maybe you go from oh my God. So you got to go all the way up to the penthouse in an elevator. Then you got to go into your unit. Then when it's time to go to bed, you got to get in an elevator because you're too
Maybe he's got a
fucking old.
chair. Maybe he's got the little chair that goes up the stairs, and then
He should have bought a unit in my building, right? 2,500 square feet on one floor. Like, what are you thinking? What's
he
going
didn't
on
know
here?
about your building. It's not for sale yet.
That's right.
And
He
when you
didn't
don't
know about
know
it.
that the building's for sale, how can someone buy it, Daryl?
It's hard to buy
Okay.
something when you don't know it's for sale.
And if nobody knows it's for sale, I guarantee you, you're leaving money on the table, because that is the key, is making sure people know it's for sale.
Well, I think basically we're very close to being able to start getting the word out over there, TK, because you know, we had our 4th community meeting. I mean, can't have any more of those.
You might.
Well, actually, I spoke to somebody at the council's office, and they did suggest a 5th, believe it or not. But I squashed that pretty good. Well, no, that's not true.
But you got to go to council, right? You got to go to
We
council
got
now to get
council
approval.
January 15th
Okay.
to get our approval.
All right.
Fingers crossed. We'll see what happens. But after that, I'll have the confidence to start letting people know what's going on.
Yeah.
Letting
And if
people know
council
what's
didn't
going on.
approve to it, that's where you have to make an application to TLAB.
That's when we would have to appeal. But I mean, we from what we know, we have their support from staff. It's just going to be whether the councilors vote yes on the 15th. So
Yeah. So there's things
let's
that
see what
are
happens.
not, in your control. So if the council votes
Nothing
on it,
is in my control, TK.
Yeah.
This is why this is the worst, best business of all time. If you're okay taking gigantic, ridiculous risks with all kinds of other people's money and not have a clue what's in store for you the entire time, this is the right business. And this is why no one does this fucking shit, because it's one day they're telling you this, and then it's the end of the world and you want to kill yourself. And then the next day they say something else that like makes it better. And you're like, oh my God, now we're going to make more money. This is the best day ever. And I'm so happy. And then 5 minutes later, the planner calls you and says, oh, they interpreted the bylaw like this. This isn't good. And
Another
it's like, oh my God. Like, no, I want to kill myself again. And it's tickets like every day around here. It's like,
Yeah.
Oh, this is so great. This is fucking horrible.
Welcome to real estate.
This is crazy.
That's what real estate is. Any real estate related
real estate,
industry is the same thing.
It's
right?
not.
That's just the inconsistencies of the market. There's so many things. And they think they're going to replace us with robots, Daryl.
Oh,
Imagine someone saying that they are going to replace you as a developer with a robot.
Listen, there is definitely aspects of me that should be replaced by a robot.
Okay,
and could be done much better.
There's a lot of automated and AI,
a lot of things,
processes that could be implemented to make my job less involved.
Yeah,
but
But
that human element, that making decisions quickly,
Sure.
that navigating the risky side of the business.
Sure.
Right?
Sure. Listen,
You need someone willing and stupid. in order to be
willing
able to
and
do-
just so dumb,
Right?
right?
We're willing to do our
just
job.
crazy.
Yeah.
TK, I want to ask you a question before we
Shoot.
end the show. Are we close to the end of the show?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I forget what it's called, and I don't know which one you are, but I'd be interested to know. But I found out. So I don't know if you heard this whole thing about like some people are like NPCs, like the non-player characters. They don't really
Yeah.
think much, right?
Yeah,
They're just
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
walking around.
Autopilot.
Like so apparently there's people that like they just don't think all day. They're just like walking around with like this blank slate. They don't think, they don't have these running thoughts in their heads all day. And I imagine just from
NPC.
knowing you that you are one with a regular stream of thoughts going
Too
through
many.
that melon, right?
Yes.
So but then I started to somehow get into apparently there's people that when they think, like they think in pictures. Right? They think they can, when you say red ball, like you close your eyes and you can see a red ball. And I'm not one of those people. I don't think like that. If you tell me think of a red ball and I close my eyes, I see a blackness, right? I know what the red ball looks like, but I don't see the red ball. If I try, right? Like I can pull in pictures from time to time, but I don't really see things. And
You
I'm
might want to
wondering,
get that checked out. I don't know.
well, it's a thing though. It's
a
called a
thing?
thing. Yeah,
Is
I
it?
forget what it's
Okay.
called, but
If
it's
you say
actually
red
a
ball, I'm
fucking
like
thing.
red ball. You know, it's a red ball.
But when you
okay.
close your eyes, do you see the red ball?
But I'm thinking about a red ball.
It doesn't matter. This is the exercise. You're thinking.
Oh.
Okay, close your
Okay,
eyes.
let's
TK.
not do red ball. Do something else.
Okay, close your eyes.
Okay.
And do you see the purple moose? Can you see a purple moose, TK?
No, I didn't see a purple moose.
What do you see when you close your eyes?
I thought about a purple moose.
But what do you see in there when you're
I
thinking?
see black.
Black?
But purple
You see
moose,
black
purple
too?
moose is on my mind.
It's on your mind, but do you see it?
I don't see a purple moose. I never once saw it. I'm
Whoa.
trying to even think about what a purple moose would look like, and I can't. Okay, there it is. I
Do you
got
see it though? Do you really
It wasn't
actually
my
see
first.
it? Or did you
No.
like pull in a picture of a moose and make it purple?
It was like flashing between a moose and the color purple. It wasn't even a purple moose. I can't do it.
Wasn't even a person. Okay, so maybe we have the same kind of brain. Maybe you have the same thing I have, or maybe everybody does, and this is
Maybe
not
everybody
even a
does,
thing.
and it's not a real exercise.
Maybe it's
Guys,
not
what do
a
you
thing.
think? Do the
Do you-
exercise. Okay, ready?
Yeah, I
Let's
wanna know.
everybody right now. Close your eyes.
Hold on. What are we going to look at? What are we going to
Okay,
see?
think. Okay, don't think. Don't think. Just close your
think.
eyes.
Don't
Just close your
think.
eyes.
Do
Okay,
you
ready?
see something
wait,
right now?
I'm gonna do it. Make sure you got nothing in
Or is
there.
it black?
Okay, and you're gonna think of a orange dandelion. Do you see an orange dandelion right now, or do you see blackness? Let us know in the
See
comments.
anything, man. Like I can picture. Actually, I'm picturing a sunflower, but I don't see fuck all.
Okay.
I'm not even talking into the mic. I don't.
Well,
TK, this is weird, right?
I think we're both okay.
Well, I don't know if we're okay or if we're not okay.
We're the
I want to know
same.
what
Either
other
ways,
people.
I feel okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you feel okay. TK. I mean,
think
how
what we
much
gotta do-
further off the rails could we go?
Well, I think that's the new angle of the show, right?
Off
So,
the
guys, let us
rails.
know.
Ooh, there's
we're
a
always
name
going to be
for it,
talking about
TK.
Canadian real estate. We're
Off
always
the
going to be
rails, baby.
mostly in the Toronto area,
a
but we
good
want to
name?
talk about coast to coast real estate. We want to talk about real life problems, what people are dealing with on a daily basis. We want to talk about interesting stuff, that people
Maybe
really
people
care
don't
about.
want us to change, TK. Maybe people come here because we're the Canadian real estate show. Did we ever think of that? Is this a whole ego thing? What are we doing here? Maybe we're doing the right thing.
Maybe we're just taking it step by step, just
I like
step by
it.
step, making sure
Just
that people have
ease it
more
in.
content out
Force
there.
it in there.
Yeah, we got
I
great
think-
stuff.
Some great stuff, TK. I can't wait to see you in one of these hats next week. I got
Next
lucky.
week.
It like
I'll be
showed
there.
up 5 minutes before we were recording.
I got the beta. I got the beta version.
You got the trial version. Yeah. This
So-
one is going to be this one's going to come in red, TK. But if you haven't already, go check out the merch store because there's all kinds of cool shit in there. We got hoodies, we got t-shirts, we got
Glad I'll
graphic
come in.
t-shirts.
I'll be wearing one soon. You'll see me out and about,
Yeah, out in the boot. Oh.
rocking the hoodie.
Rocking the hoodies.
Mhm.
And then I'm going to have a nice hoodie myself. And TK, check it out. If you're still here, we thank you.
And
the
we
bottom of
appreciate
our
you.
hearts,
Drop
we
a comment.
appreciate you.
We'll reply it, and we'll make sure that we keep bringing you the same content every week. Daryl,
That's right. Every week is the same bloody boring shit. Let's go. Let's keep it going.
adios, mi amigo.
De
I'm
nada,
practicing. I'm going to Mexico. Adios, mi amigo.
de nada, señor.
Ah,
Hola.
bien.
Hola.
Locked and loaded. Here we are.